What's up? How's it going?
Hello, everybody.
Hey guys, how's it going? Hello. Hi. So, tell us about Tim. You're probably the one who knows him best.
Tim. Oh, Timmy. Yes.
It's Tim O'Brien. We're about to start our first day of recording for my new album, Verisimilitude. It's 2 p.m. and we're about to hit the studio, meet the producer. I have a lot of just kind of magic inside of me, and I'm excited to share some of that magic with you. So, yeah, more to come.
What gave you the idea for Verisimilitude?
Well, a lot of you don't know me as this anymore, but I used to be an author. I wrote a book called The Things They Carried, and there's a lot of, verisimilitude in the book, and I decided to write about my experiences with the war in the same way that I wrote in the book. And there's just a lot of verisimilitude in the book, it's very verisimilitude-y,
Yeah, I believe the correct word is verisimilitudic, but I'm not sure.
Well, I don't really know what it means, so...
He wrote a book. And the book was all about me. Now, he won't admit that because there were so many characters in it, and they were really, really fucked up people. So it had nothing to do with me. I mean, no resemblance whatsoever. Excuse me.
When did you first meet Tim O'Brien?
Well, I knew him since when I was like 2. Our parents knew each other, and we just kind of hung out with each other, while we just played with each other. I kind of hit him in the head once by accident when I was 5, I think. Yeah, around there. But yeah, I mean, yeah, we've been friends ever since. I've just been following him along on his path of musical greatness.
Is it true that you've known Tim for almost all his life, that you guys grew up together?
Correct.
Tim Tam, he's really like he's my mate. You know how everyone has that person where it's like you just go to them, and whenever you're feeling the things that you're always feeling, the little voices in your head, whenever you're feeling those voices right deep in there, you just go to them and then you hug them, and they're kind of like a pink marshmallow that you get from a dollar store that's a little stale, but like you eat it anyways because you only have $1 and your life's kind of falling apart. And a marshmallow is better than whatever crap McDonald's is giving you on their $1 my ass, man. $1.05 isn't a dollar menu. So those people, you go to them and they're like that stale pink marshmallow, and then you eat them and they're gone too fast, like Kurt. Not that Kurt, the better Kurt. They're gone too fast. He's kind of like that pink, stale, gone too fast dollar store marshmallow.
I first met Tim, I'd say back in college. We're both the same age, and we had some mutual friends. We both went to college at the same time. We went to different colleges across town from each other. Excuse me. But, that was the first time we met. We met at a party, and we totally hit it off, but we didn't really develop like a friendship, until we're working on this album. But, and then every once in a while through the years, through mutual friends and whatnot, we'd cross paths again and, have some fun. We're both in the same business, or were, and so, we've just kind of known each other for a very, very long time, much longer than most people know each other.
He was probably the more, I would say, aggressive out of the bunch of us. He wasn't violent, but he definitely had those moments where, he got a little rambunctious, I would say. Yeah, but we kind of did everything together when we were little. We went to school together, we ate dinner together, we hung out together, obviously. We slept together, we showered together, we brushed our teeth together. We put on our shoes together. Basically, I was like his brother from another mother. That's probably the best explanation of our relationship.
Timmy, yes. Difficult. He never quite knew who he was or our relationship. Now, granted, I had something to do with that. I mean, I was very clear about being his aunt and mother and younger sister and older sister, maid, teacher, preacher. Yes, I had a great, anyway, he often got confused with who I was, which confused me because I thought I was being incredibly clear. I mean, I was all things. I was everyone. I was everyone to him. Everything that he needed, every role model. I drove a tractor. I taught him how to read Arabic. He forgets these little things. But I had a huge impact on his life. Huge.
Did the death of your father and then subsequently your mother and then subsequently your brother and then subsequently your sister affect your music making process in any way, and did you draw inspiration from that?
I don't think you have that right.
I'm sorry?
My family's not dead. They're alive. My father's alive, my mother's alive, my brother's alive. Where's that the Addams family?
It's exhausting. I mean, can you imagine saying, "Goodbye, son," in the morning, and then, "Hi, sweetie, it's Grandma, it's time for your bath," in the afternoon, and then, "This is Aunt Charlotte, I brought you cookies," and then Grandpa James going, "No, don't go to Vietnam, you won't come back a whole person." I mean, I had to be all those people. "You're my grandson. Ah! I was in World War I. I don't want you to come home. I want you to come home, but not the way they came home." Excuse me. It's really overwhelming.
Is it true that you fought with Tim O'Brien in the war?
No.
We also hear that you fought in the war with Tim. You saved his life a couple times. Could you go into that experience?
Yeah, we were up in the mountains, and we were down in the canyon between the mountains, and the Viet Cong were up on the top, slowly creeping in down on us. And I was one of the first in the squad to notice the Viet Cong creeping up on us. And they just ambushed us, just tons of bullets flying everywhere. And I was able to get myself and Tim beneath this tree, and we were able to hide until the Viet Cong kind of killed everybody and moved on their way. And we both traveled through the Vietnam forest back to home base. So that was quite a terrifying experience.
In the jungle, something happened to him, and I really think that it was, they would get really hungry in that jungle, and there wasn't a lot to eat. I don't even want to think about what he did or what happened to him in that jungle. My Tim. Anyway, on another note, he did come back.
Oh my god, Tim O'Brien. Is that actually you? Oh my god, I'm such a big fan. Oh, hey, dude, fuck off. Hey, oh my god, it's actually, can I have your autograph, please? Please? I'm like your biggest fan, I swear. I have your book. I have all your books. Hey, fuck off, man. I have all your books and I have your album too. What? No, I have the If I Die in a Combat Zone one too. Hey man.
Back.
Listen up.
Back.
Look, I've devoted my entire life to being fans of people.
You know what? You can ask him.
When did you first discover your love for music?
Oh man, I was 5 years old. Little Timmy is what they called me then. You know, my best friend Bill had a friend named Jack whose father owned a music store. He had a piano. And one day he told little Jack that he was going to give him the piano when Jack turned 18. Jack was destined to be musical. Jack was talented. He had piano skills and all that stuff. And I couldn't believe that I was friends with a friend who had such skills. You know, it was a revelation that I knew this guy through Billy. And ever since then, I had like this internal magic inside of me, you know, telling me to make music.
How do you feel about Tim O'Brien's music, honestly?
I don't listen to any of it. I don't know what his music says. Have you listened to it?
No.
I have trouble with the word music and Tim in the same context. I've been struggling with that for many years. Didn't Richard Nixon do this at some point in time? He did something like that. Or no, that was another guy. Music. It's rather screechy. Personally, I prefer South Central gospel music, and you know, I really tried to influence him along those lines. But yeah, I did get him down there on a few occasions, but he felt awkward being the only Caucasian person. But I do think it had some influence on his music. It got into his soul, and then they did that that thing. What do they do? That thing where they save you, right? Now I know that's when he started making really good music, when he got saved. He was saved.
Growing up, who were your musical inspirations?
Stevie Wonder is the first one that comes to mind. You know, that guy's just incredible. Every single one of his songs is amazing. And you know, not only that, but his blindness I can actually kind of relate to. You know, I think that sometimes we're all a little blind. You know, sometimes we're all we can't really see very well. You know, like when you're driving the car and suddenly the windshield is black and you can't really see that there's like a pedestrian in front of you, and you know, you figure it out. You know what I'm talking about. So basically, I'm the Stevie Wonder of music, you know.
He played a few instruments. The ukulele. His favorite was the theremin, you know, I taught him that too. And he went on really to become a great, the theremin player. He became a great theremin player.
Post-war, you went on to work with many other notable musicians, you know, Sly Stone, Stevie Wonder, yes, yeah. Marvin Gaye. How do they compare to Tim O'Brien?
Well, I would say that Tim O'Brien is the non-blind version of Stevie Wonder, if that makes any sense. Like, you know how good he is, how good Stevie Wonder is, like Superstition or Signed, Sealed, Delivered. You know, those are awesome songs, but I feel like Tim O'Brien has to step up because he's not blind.
Till the end of the song, I was at an inclination to forget the army's invitation, but I didn't want to shoot. But I couldn't face incarceration, so you want to know what's real or fake? Well, psych's on you, the song is never gonna end.
Often less talked about, but seemingly very important to your creative process, you're a bassist and co-writer, Kurt. I know you guys have known each other for a long time. Can you just tell us a little bit about your relationship and his involvement in the creative process?
Yeah. He's like my number one inspiration for music, you know? I mean, like, he's the one who introduced me to the whole thing. he brought me into it after the war. You know, I'd written my book, and I was kind of ready to start something else with my life. And he came into my house. I remember very vividly. He came into my house with his big old boots on, Kurt boots, and he had this bass guitar, and he just started playing it right in my house. Lit up the whole place. You know, I thought he might be an intruder, so I pulled out. That's not important. He's an inspiration. You know?
In our interview with Tim O'Brien, he really credited you as like his main source of inspiration behind his music and one of the driving forces in leading him to become a musician despite entering the game so late in his career. Do you have any response to that?
Well, my dad, he was really into music. You know, he has tons of records, and I kind of got his music taste off of him. And, you know, since Tim and I were such good friends, whenever I found a really good song, I'd show it to him and he'd be like, oh, this is really cool. And yeah, and I guess he just found his inspiration through me showing him this awesome music, you know?
You were responsible for getting him signed to his first record deal.
That's yeah. He so we were in a coffee shop, right? And I was working on my screenplay. And then he was excuse me.
I'm so sorry.
It's fine.
Are those employees of yours?
Not anymore. So I was working on my screenplay. It was really good. Then he sits 3 seats to the side of me, and he says, ba da 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 da, and I'm like, we can do something with that. So I mean, I got him signed to a French Bulldog record.
Sometimes I hallucinate. I imagine that he's a little boy, and I'm lying to him about being his mother again. Do you think that did any damage? Oh God, that would make me feel just terrible.
Hey, what's up guys? It's Chase. I'm here in the lobby of the studio with the incredible Tim O'Brien and this guy. We were just talking about the creative process, and you know, it's our first day in the studio, so we're all super pumped. It's gonna be maybe the best album I've ever worked on, and if you know me, you know that's a big thing to say. Yeah, I mean, it's a fucking masterpiece, man. It's really, really incredible, and it's coming to all of you soon. Peace out.
How would you describe your experience making the album?
That's a loaded question. I'd say life-changing for better or for worse. Devastating, exciting, fun, miserable, traumatizing, memorable, kind of almost everything. You know, it was such a long process that there was a lot of time for us to feel many different ways. But, you know, in the end, it's worth it.
So, you're asking me about, like, the process of him making his album? Okay, so he would, he'd, like, send me an audio clip, one of those, like, MP3 converters on like, a Dell or whatever, and then no, it's like, you've already made a big deal, just go on. No, it's fine. It's what, no decency anymore. So he'd send me, like, a clip, and I'd usually not be in the most, what's a professional way of saying sober? I don't know, I'll think of it later. The most sober mindset, and it just sounded like buzzing to me, but I really like bees, so I'd say, keep up the good work, bzz, bzz. I like the BZZZ and then like a period and then a B emoji. I don't think he ever got it. But I trusted him, and then eventually he sent me the final draft, and I gave it as a white elephant gift to my nephew.
It was definitely quite the experience, you know. Tim was definitely probably at his most creative for this, and I think that this is going to be some of his best work. This will probably go down as probably one of the best albums out on the market.
Would you consider Verisimilitude an enjoyable experience?
Yes.
How did you get along with the band, like Kurt, and as well as with the new producer, Chase?
Kurt, oh my god, when Kurt passed away, that was...
Kurt hasn't passed away yet, I'm sorry. Oh, no, different Kurt.
Different Kurt?
Different Kurt.
What? No, there aren't any other...
Kurt with the long blonde hair.
Yeah.
Oh wait, no, different Kurt with the long blonde hair. Kurt the bassist.
Oh. He's kind of a dick. But I just don't talk to him very much. I can tell he's not very good.
I first met Chase in the Nam War, actually. He was an anti-tankman, and I was a scout. And you know, we both just we kind of clicked. You know, we both killed the Namis. We both fired our guns together. We both shared the same foxholes. We're like family. Chase is like family.
I don't think he likes me. I remember Tim and I were trying to play the guitar together, and he just kind of went apeshit on me, and a little bit on Tim. But you know, Tim can handle it. But you know, he's a really good producer, so I can handle whatever he throws at me.
I need you to boy the fuck up or get the fuck out. Seriously, man. You shut the fuck up too. Go. Louder. Better. No, better than that. I know you don't know. That's what I'm fucking teaching you. You think this is funny? Better. Faster. Louder. You know the Daft Punk song? You don't? Harder, better, faster, stronger. Do that. Okay. No, don't play it, just be that. Alright, fuck you, Tim, you go. Now. My dead grandma can play better than that. Fuck you guys.
In this world, it's like dog eat dog, drummers eat bassists, politicians eat the poor. So you just kind of let it go, you know? You let them meander in their inadequacies.
What about the sound recording? You know, one of the big advertisements for this album is that there are a lot of obscure, new, different sounds. How did you guys capture those? Could you go into detail?
Yeah, we really kind of took cues from, like, you know, the Beach Boys' Pet Sounds when they had the goats or something, and we really kind of wanted to take it one step further, and instead of bringing nature into the studio, we decided to bring the studio into nature. So we went out, you know, we recorded the wind, the plants, we recorded guitar in the middle of nowhere, surrounded by trees. Let's see. We recorded dogs. We walked down the street while recording. We recorded construction. Spoons. That was our big challenge, was figuring out the right spoons to use. But again, we did that out in nature. So I'd say we spent about maybe half of our studio sessions out in nature recording as a oneness with the environment. It was a really incredible experience, actually.
Chase is really the guy to ask about that, because he was the one with most of the ideas. You know, he'd take us outside, we'd be walking down the street, he'd be holding the mic, I'd just be playing it, walking down the street. We'd go into bushes, we'd mess around with some spoons. We had to get the spoons right, if I recall. And, you know, we'd be walking down the street, I'd see a rock, and I just thought to myself, how cool would it be if we captured some sound reverb off the rock, right? So we put up the guitar right next to the rock, we pick up some of the sounds, we do the same thing for the street. You know, it's a lot of kind of avant-garde-ish, you know, alternative sounds that are making up the album. And you know, we also got Neil Young to contribute. He has a lot of sounds. Neil Young, like a lot of sounds.
You're also a bongo player, is that right?
Yes,
And did you play bongos on this record?
indeed.
In the making of this album, have you played a significant role, would you say?
Affirmative.
There are certain inside stories that they say that you're the one who does everything and he just kind of puts his name on it.
I don't know what you're talking about. I mean, I help, right? I help do the drums, I help play the guitar, I help do the bass, sometimes I help sing, but, you know, he's the true lyrical genius here.
Can you talk a little bit about other musicians you worked with on this album and kind of how they came into play?
Well, I mean, as I said, I already told you about the Elton John experience. What else did I work with? Colin What's-His-Face from Beastie Boys. He was a great guy. A lot of creativity flows out of that guy. You know, a lot. He really liked cake, as I recall. He had so many different cakes in his refrigerator, just all the time.
But it's just, I asked you to get my damn spoons! That's all I wanted! That's all I fucking wanted! Some spoons! You want, I don't give a shit about your forks! Okay, it's okay. It's not okay, alright? It's not okay! It's okay. After all we've been through together, you think I'd rather have methanol than spoons? I want my fucking spoons, man! I want them!
He was only saved for a brief period of time. He did not stay saved. No.
There have been a lot of news reports lately about your temper throughout the making of this album and frequent outbursts. Do you have anything to say about that?
I don't have a temper. Okay, anybody who thinks that I have a temper, any weird YouTube videos about some temper thing are false. All right, they're not true. I don't have a temper.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, I'm so calm that sometimes I'll just sit in my room and I'll fall asleep. That's how calm I get.
You guys are both known to have outbursts, kind of a temper, both of you guys. How did you guys work through that in the making of the album?
You know, with something like this that we worked on for so long, we're really almost like a family. And so, you know, families fight, families abuse their sound engineers, technicians, punch each other, throw instruments, kick each other's shins, and you know, it's all part of the creative process. And sometimes it went a little too far. As I'm sure you know, we spent months not working on the album after fighting, and God, and then, you know, we'd come back together, we'd bump into each other on the street and reconcile and kind of decide to go back and revisit the album and keep working on it. And so that's a large part of why the process was so long, because, you know, it's very similar to my relationship with my actual siblings. You know, we just go months and months without talking after getting into drunken fights. And so, you know, but at the same time, some of the best albums I've made have been with my siblings. So it's a very intense love-hate situation in which love always prevails. motherfucker.
You fight like a paraplegic 120-year-old.
You got any methanol?
I know a guy.
Now, Tim O'Brien has a reputation for having infrequent outbursts. What do you have to say about those allegations and his alleged destruction that ensues following those outbursts?
That's why we're buddies.
So he denied those allegations. Are you confirming them?
What the fuck did he say?
He denied having a temper.
He denied having a temper? Oh, maybe I shouldn't have said anything. No, he's my...
What's your relationship with spoons?
I don't like spoons. I like forks. I've said this before. That video can't be true because I hate spoons. I don't love them. I love forks.
Tim and his spoons. I think it's best for our relationship that I don't talk about that.
One of the most famous stories surrounding the making of this album was you spent an extensive period of time during the making of this album in prison. Can you tell us a little bit about that and maybe what it was about and whether or not it was justified?
So, well, first you have to kind of know the backstory of why I went to prison. You know, I mean, you remember how I told you about just kind of like the occasional blindness. It happens to people, you know, like this is an actual thing. Like the doctors told me, things like this can happen to patients who take methanol. And, you know, I couldn't help it. So the judge let me off. You know, I did some prison time. I did hit her, you know, I can't deny that. But it was entirely an accident. You know, I hate her, but it was an accident. You know.
So just for clarification, who is her? Who's she? Who's the woman you hit with your car?
My ex-wife.
It's kind of like rotting food in the refrigerator. It starts out fresh. Tim did not make it. He was not ever completely saved. He was rotten.
Would
Do you have
you
any
say
more
that he's
questions?
still rotten?
Is he still rotten? Fuck yes.
There's also some talk about the time that Tim O'Brien did in prison during the making of this album. How did you guys collaborate, you know, through bars?
Oh, I just got myself arrested too.
Me not being in prison, obviously, I was kind of the outside man, so whatever they needed, I would go and get them, you know, and I had to come up with some pretty clever ways to get it to them.
Do you have anything to say to her family who really hold a grudge against you for having done that thing and gotten off with such a little repercussions?
I'm not guilty. You know, I'm not guilty. Simple as that. No, I'm sorry that they had to go through that, but I'm not guilty. No, I mean, I got off. I'm not guilty. I'm gonna keep making music though, and they're gonna, you know, I'll make music, some magic that's inspired for them, you know, for their loss.
Guys, it's Tim. I know a lot of you have been kind of discussing online, like on forums and whatnot, about what's inside of my bag. So I thought I'd kind of put out something.
that talks a little bit about that. Firstly, I've got my American flag stars lighter. I use it for all of my shit. It's really hard to use. I figure it out. I use it to light all my drags and everything. And then I have my staple gun for self-defense, obviously. Not sure what's in this thing. Oh right, my harmonica. This here's my wallet. And my iPhone. You know, this is the first iPhone to ever come out. And I just kind of like to stick to the basics. You know, I like to use the vintage stuff. It works the best.
His phone hasn't worked in like 8 years.
And you know his whole rant, his whole thing about like, no, texting is for the lobster overlords, and I'm like, you know what, whatever keeps you happy and making me the do-do-do.
So can I ask you another question?
No, shut up.
What's your favorite song off your new record?
Probably my cover of Yellow Brick Road, Yellow Shit Road. I collaborated with Elton John on that, and that was a lot of fun. He came in, he did the piano portion. He's a really great guy, you know, he's really fantastic. He knows how to take a punch, I'll tell you that.
What's your favorite song off the new album?
Probably Goodbye Yellow Shit Road. Yeah, that one's a classic, I would say. That one's gonna... If you think about other musicians like Pink Floyd and their album Dark Side of the Moon and how that's kind of like their pinnacle of them, I feel like that song is the pinnacle of Tim O'Brien.
But he didn't even write it. So how's it the pinnacle of him?
Well, he changed it a little
He
bit.
changed
Changed the lyrics.
which I obviously helped him, you know. But, you know, I can't take all the credit because he's the musical genius here.
Sir.
1 moment. Yes.
What do you have to say to the haters out there who say that Tim O'Brien's music is derivative and his best song is basically a cover of another song with just like 3 words changed? What do you think of that? How do you feel about those people? What do you want to say to those people that hasn't already been said? Or that has been said? How do you feel?
Do you consider Tim O'Brien to be a friend of yours, as opposed to just your employer?
Yes.
Are you aware he didn't speak at all about you in his interview?
No.
Does that change your opinion about your friendship?
Yes.
So what do you have to say about the fact that he didn't mention you at all in his extensive interview with us?
I'm still getting paid.
Part of your famous rock star image is with a beard, and so we're wondering where'd it go?
Well, you know, I had the beard while I was making my first album, and my second one, and my third, and then after that, you know, I woke up one morning and I didn't have it anymore. It's like it left. It's like my conclusion of my making of new songs was done. From that point forward, you know, with Verisimilitude, I covered all those songs again and remade them. And any covers and all that stuff, those were songs that already existed. I collaborated. But as far as like my creative juices go, I was done. That was my time, you know. Now I'm just living it.
As a final question, what do you have to say about the making of this album and the process? And
No, this is a good album. I know a lot of songs. I have a very good voice. It will be a great album. Blockbuster, #1 on the top 10 charts worldwide. Are we doing an album?
I want to give a shout out to my homeboy William, always there for me. OG Vape Nation, Tim O'Brien, you can suck my dick unless you make me that money, in which case I respect you and we should all respect each other. Namaste, my man.
Alright, so this is my humble abode. My bedroom. A few things about me. I like to get my magic flowing here, in the room, you know, with myself, with other people, women, sometimes, men, sometimes, you know. This here, this is my my black painting. It's like what I like to call it. You know, I think it's a good name for it. I bought it from an art gallery. $3 million. I like to wake up in the morning and just kind of look at it, and it looks at me. You know. This here is where I keep my electric guitar. I call him Rambo. You know, he's been loyal to me for about a decade now. Here's where I keep my jewelry. And here's my bathroom. That's about it, you know. I do all kinds of shit in here, you know. Take a piss. Sometimes I do that. Sometimes I shit. You know. Sometimes I'll eat, but you know, it's not that weird. You know? And you know, if I ever want to watch TV, then I actually leave the painting so that I see the upper half. You know, it's more sensible that way. That's me.
Oh shit. I can never figure out. I mean, since I accidentally walked into Floyd's barbershop without lipstick on, this happened. Okay, so we just do the best we can.
What's the deal with the axe?
Yes.
This right here is where basically like 90% of my creativity. Sometimes I'll just kind of down this, you know, just kind of think, you know, like this. I'll look right up, even when there's not a camera, you know, just kind of let myself go. I'm not high or anything, you know, just let myself relax.
I did give him machete lessons. He won't admit that. He thinks he figured it out himself.
This here is my pet snake. I've owned him for about 20 years. The doctors say that he only has like 5 left to live, so I just kind of let him do his thing in this room, you know. I don't want him to go all suppressed. This here's my amp. I've got a record player, record collection. There's a few more paintings here and there. This one's probably my favorite painting. It's about $5 billion. It's not even unwrapped. I think that's what makes it really valuable. You know? I don't want to advertise everything because, you know, robbers and shit. This here's my butterbeer mug. I got it from Harry Potter World. It's my favorite cup. And what else? Let's see. Some more painting shit. I know it almost looks like I paint this shit with all the stuff around, but I don't. This is actually all stuff that I bought at an art gallery. It makes me look like I'm a painter. You know, it's pretty fucking cool.
I'm gonna go away. I gotta. It's not. Why are you still? I told you to leave. I gotta. Here, we're gonna. Nice to meet you. I gotta go do more.
Okay, enough of this. So, I also, this is an aside, I know I'm getting off track, but I do love red.
But I do buy pieces of art and paint over them, you know. Yeah, and this here's my fan. It stopped working about, it's either 3 weeks or maybe 3 years ago. Those are some trophies I won. Not art related at all. It was fuck, I forget what that was for. Those are like my main items, you know. And here I'll take you into the next room. That's it.
When I die and they lay me to rest, gonna go to the place that's the best. When I lay me down to die, going up to the spirit in the sky. Going up to the spirit in the sky. It's where I'm gonna go when I die. When I die and they lay me to rest, gonna go to the place that's the best. Prepare yourself, you know it's a must. Gotta have a friend in Jesus. So you know that when you die, he's gonna recommend you to the spirit in the sky. Gonna recommend you to the spirit in the sky. It's where you're gonna go when you die. When you die and they lay you to rest, you're gonna go to the place that's the best. sinner. I never sinned. I got a friend in Jesus. So you know that when I die, He's gonna set me up with the Spirit in the sky. Oh, set me up with the Spirit in the sky. Where I'm gonna go when I die. When I die and they lay me to rest, I'm gonna go to the place that's the best. Go to the place that's the best.
Ding.